Welcome to a new show from Go English. Hello everybody. Today, inshallah, as the previous show, we're going to talk about many interesting things. In the previous show, we shed a light on 6 very common English mistakes one commits without paying attention. Then we learned 3 very important words we have to know in English, as they are so much used in this language. And at the end of that show, we listened together to Steve's second secret. Today will be different but similar in a way, since we're talking about 2 major things. The first thing will be grammatical mistakes that are very common in English. I know everybody hates grammar and hates knowing the reason behind us using this and not using that. And because of that, I'm not explaining why. I'm just going to let you know the mistake. Then we'll let you know the right way to use it or to say it. After that, we're moving to the second thing we have for today, which is Steve's third secret. And I'll give you good examples to make good use of the 3 secrets we had after listening to the third secret, of course. Well, let's now go to the first part, the grammatical common mistakes. The first common mistake we're talking about today is the use of words like faster, smaller, bigger, better, slower, with the word more. Much people say that is more faster or more slower. We never say the word more with the verbs that take an ER. So, if you want to exaggerate and show that the thing you're talking about is too slow, you can simply say, this is much slower than that. Much slower. So you can say much, not more. More is used with long words like beautiful, wonderful, amazing, etc. So when you say, this is more beautiful than that, this is right. But when you say, this is more faster than that, this is wrong. Because beautiful is a long verb. But faster is a verb that we can add ER at the end of it. So again, never use more with verbs that you can add ER at the end of them. The second very common grammatical mistake is when you say, I could, should, or would. You can use either of them. Could, or should, or would. So let's say could. I could have went. This is not correct. When you say, I could have, you must use the past participle verb form, such as gone, eaten, taken, driven, etc. Not the past simple verb form, like went, ate, took, and drove. Therefore, the right way to say I could have went is I could have gone to school, not I could have went to school. And I could have driven the car, not I could have drove the car. And I should have given you the stuff yesterday, not I should have gave you the stuff yesterday. You should have eaten your breakfast before leaving, not you should have ate. So we never say I should have went, but I should have gone. Remember this very well. The third important common mistake that we have to avoid when speaking is adding an ED to a verb that does not take an ED. For example, some people say, I told you the truth. There is nothing in English that is called told. It's told. The same as speak. We don't say speaked. We say spoke. not drinked the juice, but drunk the juice. So all what we have to do is to pay more attention to those irregular verbs when using them, because these verbs does not take an ed in the past form. They are irregular. So again, we never say tilled, we say told. We never say speaked, we say spoke. And we never say drinked, we say drunk. The fourth grammatical common mistake for today is the double negative. Well, what does the double negative mean? Let me tell you. Double negative is when you use two negative forms of the verb in the same sentence. Like when you say, I never did nothing. So we have never and we have nothing. Never and nothing are both negative. There is nothing wrong with the sentence or the structure of the sentence when we say, I never did nothing, but the meaning of it is not right. The second negative in English, unlike most languages, cancels the effect of the first negative. So, I never did nothing. Nothing is the second negative in the sentence. It cancels the work of the first negative, which is never. And the result of that is that the speaker is saying the exact opposite of what he or she intends to say. So when you actually say, I never did nothing, you actually mean, the meaning that you really want is you did nothing, right? But what is understood from what you said is that you did everything. Because as we said, nothing cancels the work of never. So being a double negative sentence, let it be a positive sentence. So it does mean you did everything, not you did nothing. So you cannot say, I never did nothing. You either say, I never did anything, or I did nothing. So be careful when using the double negative form, or you will be misunderstood. Now let's have a short break with this song, then we'll come back.
I was so far from you, yet to me you were always so close. I wandered lost in the dark. I closed my eyes to all the signs you put in my way. I walked every day further and further away from you. Ooh, Allah, you brought me home. I thank you with every breath I take. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah, all praises to Allah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah, all praises to Allah. I never thought about all the things you had given to me. I never thanked you once. I was too proud to see the truth and prostrate to you, until I took the first step, and that's when you opened the doors for me. Now, Allah, I realize what I was missing by being far from you. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah, all praises to Allah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Allah. Allah, I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you for all the things that you've done. You've done for me through all my years I've been lost. You guided me from all the ways that were wrong. Indeed, you gave me hope. Oh Allah, I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you for all the things that you've done. You've done for me through all my years I've been lost. You guided me from all the ways that were wrong. I wanna thank you for bringing me home. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah, all praises to Allah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. All praises to Allah, all praises to Allah.
Well, now let's go back to our common grammatical mistakes. And the fifth grammatical mistake is the use of who, which, and that. You might hear someone saying, I saw the man which has a bus. I saw the man which, and underline which, has a bus. But this is wrong. We never use which to talk about people. We use who instead of which. So the right way to say it is, I saw the man who has a bus. So we used who has a bus, not which has a bus. Or I saw the man that has a bus. That, the word that, could be used with everything, whether a thing or a person. We also have which is only for things. So which is only for things, who is only for people, that could be used for both of them. So if I want to talk about the man, I'll say, I saw the man who or that has a bus. If I want to talk about a book, for example, I say, I read the book which or that was on the table. And here we used which because it's a book, and the book is a thing, it's not a person. Okay? Well, now let's move to the sixth and final and even most important common grammatical mistake for today. Lots of people used to say, the child do his homework. I loves my mom. The people helps each other. The laptop seem cute. The children plays football, which is incorrect, of course. The child, in the first example, I said the child do his homework. The child is singular. He's only one child. And in English, if the subject is singular, we add an S for the verb. So the child, which is he, takes an S. The right way to say it is he does his homework, not he do his homework. For the singular form, we add an S, like he plays football, she loves her mother, it drinks milk. But for the plural, we use the verb without adding S at the end of it. Like they play football. They play football. I didn't say they plays. I said they play football. And we say we love our mother. not we loves, because it's a plural form. But you must pay attention to something important. I and you. I is a singular, right? But we do not use an S with the verb after it. So we say, I love my mom and you play football without adding an S to the verb. So again, he, she, and it are singular. And because they're singular, we add an S after the verb that comes after these pronouns or subjects. But we have another pronoun which is singular and which is I. I does not take an S like the other singular pronouns. For the plural pronouns, we do not add an S because they are plural. We only say the verb as it is in the present form without adding an S. But one might ask, how could I make good use of these 6 common mistakes we've just mentioned? Okay, if you listened carefully to what Steve said in the previous 2 shows and what he is going to tell us in this show, you will be able to make good use of them. So let's now listen together to Steve's 3rd secret of the 7 secrets of successful language learning. To Steve.
Hi there, Steve Kaufman, founder of Link here, and I'm going to talk to you about the 3rd of my secrets to successful language learning. The first one was to spend the time every day and for as long as it takes. The 2nd secret was to do things that you like to do in language learning, and that will ensure your success and ensure that you stay with it. The 3rd secret is to notice what is happening in the language. This is extremely important. Now, how do you develop the ability to notice? There are a number of things that you need to do. First of all, I would like to stress that the ability to notice is probably the largest difference or the most significant difference between people who are good at language learning and people who are not good at language learning. So it's very important to develop the ability to notice. Now, the first thing you need to do is to make sure you get a lot of exposure to the language through listening, reading, or if you prefer watching videos, but somehow you have to get a lot of the language into you because you can't notice things that you haven't already experienced. It's a bit like the saying, you can only learn what you already know. It sounds a bit contradictory, but you can't notice until you've actually consciously and subconsciously experienced something. So hopefully you are spending a lot of time gaining that exposure to the language. Now, how do you start noticing? There are a number of things that can help you notice. First of all, you have to want to notice. So if I'm reading, I'll often underline certain expressions or words. If I'm reading at Link, I will save words and phrases to my personal database. Just the act of saving them helps me notice. Now, when I review these in flashcards, that again helps me notice. It's not because I review them in flashcards that I'm going to remember them. I won't necessarily remember them. Some words I'll remember, some I won't. But it's all slowly building up this ability to notice. If I'm corrected, it may help me notice. It may not, but it certainly won't necessarily correct me. Maybe an explanation from a teacher or an explanation in a grammar book will help me notice. And that's why I very often review grammar books very quickly. Not again with the intention or the hope that I'll remember a particular rule or a particular verb ending, but because it's just that process, that continuous cumulative process of getting me to notice certain things. And once I notice something, let's say it was a correction in my writing, and then I look for it when I'm reading or when I hear the language, and all of a sudden I start to notice these things everywhere. And as we notice things in the language, they become a part of us. And pretty soon, because we've noticed it here and noticed it there, suddenly, automatically, we start using these words and phrases or patterns of the language more correctly. Now, the same is true with pronunciation. You can't pronounce what you can't hear. So you have to pay attention to how the language is pronounced. And it's not just the individual sounds you need to pay attention to, it's the intonation. And sometimes it can be very useful to listen and imitate, because that's helping you to notice. So whether it be pronunciation or correct usage, or the accumulation of words and phrases, it's very important to hone that ability to notice. And it starts with a desire to notice, the conscious determination, will to say, I'm going to try to notice the language. And then you can train yourself through these various activities. So that's the third hint. Learn to notice the language, and you'll become an efficient and successful language learner. Thank you.
Thanks to Steve. So in the previous two shows, in addition to this show, Steve told us that the first secret which we should do to learn the language is to spend the time. Then the second secret was to do what you like to do. So you're spending time with English, doing what you like to do. And today Steve told us that the third important secret is to notice what is happening in the language, which is extremely important, as Steve told us. Now let's have some examples to make it clearer. Imagine yourself spending time with the language by reading a story or a novel, for example, because you love reading. By this, you'll be doing the first and the second secret successfully, because you're spending time with the language, as Steve told us, and you're doing what you like to do, as Steve told us also in the second secret. Now, the most important thing is to notice the language. And here comes the difference between language learners. But how are you going to notice the language when you're reading? Well, you cannot do it without writing down the things you liked. That is when you're reading from a book, a hard copy book that you can hold between your hands. And if it was a soft copy, you can simply save the things you liked on a file on the computer. So it's not difficult to save the things you like, whether they were on a soft copy or a hard copy of the book you're reading. And here you might wonder, okay, after I saved it, the things I like, how am I going to notice things? Well, look at this. You saved these things because you like them, right? So you're going to read them again and again because you like them, and this is the reason behind you saving them. By reading them more than one time, you're going to notice many things. For example, you saved a sentence and you read it again. In reading it the second time, you might notice the way the sentence is written, the structure of the sentence. You also might notice the way grammar was used in the sentence. Even if you don't know the reason behind the writer putting had or have, you will know that this is the right way to use this thing in a sentence like this. So you're going to use it as the writer used it. So after that, you won't say it wrong. You will always use it as the writer used it in the sentence. So you will use it in the good way and in the right way, as the writer did. You're also going to notice the good use of the suitable words in the suitable places, in addition to many other things that you are going to notice by rereading the things you quoted or you wrote down in your notebook or on a file on the computer, as I said. This is in case it was reading that you prefer to spend time with. But if it was a kind of watching movies or videos or listening to songs that you want to spend your time with, what you have to do is to concentrate more while listening, because you're going to notice the language by listening, which needs more efforts than reading, because as I said, when reading you can simply quote the things you loved and write them down if it was a hard copy, and you can save them on a file if the thing you're reading was a soft copy. But when you listen, the speaker might be fast and the accent might be a little bit difficult for you to understand, and the use of words might be a little bit difficult. He doesn't use simple words. In this case, you have to pay more attention because the only thing you're doing is listening. You're not watching what he's saying. This is in case it was a song MP3 file, not a video or something. If it was a video or a movie that you are watching, it might be a little bit easier than something without a picture, because when you look at the speaker, you can look at the way he's pronouncing things. You can look at the way he's moving his mouth to pronounce certain words, to understand why he pronounced it this way, not that way, and whether you do it the same as he do it, and whether you do it the same as he does it or not. So by this, it could be a little bit easier than only listening without a picture. You can use any kind of thing to spend your time with. According to Steve, as he told us that what we have to do is something we like to do, because if we don't like the thing we're doing, we're not doing it in a good way, and we're not going to enjoy doing that thing, and simply we're not going to learn the language. And by this we've come to the end of our show. Please don't hesitate to email us at goenglish.qvoice@gmail.com, goenglish.qvoice@gmail.com, in case you have any new thing you want to share with us. If you also have some questions, just feel free to email us at this email. Goodbye.
Mom, all grown up now, it's a brand new day. I'd like to put a smile on your face every day. Mom, all grown up now, and it's not too late. I'd like to put a smile on your face every day. Mom, all grown up now, it's a brand new day. I'd like to put a smile on your face every day. Mom, all grown up now, and it's not too late. I'd like to put a smile on your face every day.